Hello everyone, my name is Suryansh and I'm from HUS, and today we will be interviewing Mr. Tajinder Singh, and he's the Commissioner of Appeals, and we will talk more about his profession and what does he do and a little about his life. So, Mr. Tajinder Singh, what is your profession?
Hello, Suryansh. My name is Tajinder Pal Singh. I am Commissioner of Income Tax Appeals. I belong to 1992 batch of Indian Revenue Service. And how are you? How's
I'm
your?
fine, how are you?
I'm very fine. And uh, you can ask me questions.
Okay, so has COVID brought up hurdles in your day-to-day operations? If yes, how?
I think COVID has changed our life drastically, not only in our department, but I think all over the world. We can say it is a pre-COVID and post-COVID scenario. In this post-COVID scenario, we are basically all the organizations have made a shift in their working. Many people have started working from home because it is safer to do so, and also because of the safety measures we are taking, we are avoiding meeting people and having direct interface with the people, and it's professionally it suits us also. So there has been a sea change, a drastic change in the working.
So, what are the steps taken by your department to overcome such hurdles of, for example, not meeting face to face?
I will tell you that side by side, COVID or no COVID, our department is also evolving because change is the only constant, And in this scenario, in the last year, the government has decided on 13th August 2020 that the revenue scrutiny assessment, which we are doing, there will be no interface, no personal interface. And on the same day, the Prime Minister also launched a citizen taxpayers charter, and also he announced, and on 25th September 2020, there has another a very big change in the functioning of the department, in which the appeals, which after assessment, if you go in for appeals, there will be no human interface, no interaction between the appellant and the appeal unit. The commissioner appeals will no longer conduct any hearing face to face. So there has been a very big change in the functioning of the department. And incidentally, it came when the COVID was on. But COVID or no COVID, this is a change which we ought to bring and we have brought to our functioning. So it has, by the way, come simultaneously.
So, the next question is, what would you say is the best thing about being a civil servant?
So in civil services, you are having wide range of responsibilities, and it is a well thought out competition in which around a million candidates will sit for the exam, and then only 700 to 900 will make it. So you can say for every 1,000 candidates, only one selection is there. So the selection is pretty tough, and the competition is very hard. And concomitant to that, we also get lot of responsibility at a very young age. For example, you get selected at age of 25, 27. Then after 4 or 5 years, if you come in the civil services as an IAS, you will be the DM, district magistrate of the district, at a young age of 32, 29, 35, and the whole gamut of activity is before you. You can handle it, and you can bring a lot of changes if you are really willing to bring a change. So the responsibilities in each of the civil servant, when you get into the civil services, it is a very challenging as well as very satisfying job.
What would you say is the best? Sorry, my bad. What would be your advice for someone aspiring to be a civil servant?
I would advise the candidate to be very good in studies. That is a prerequisite, because if you have to be one in thousand, then you have to be really good in studies, not good, absolutely brilliant, and you have to be a very hardworking person, because one in thousand or one in 1200. So, and next, when you get selected for the interview, then all are equal. Then your personality test will determine whether you are fit for the exam, we are fit to be get selected, because uh, all those candidates will be equally mentally equipped, very sharp. But what is your attitude toward your work, your personality? What is your soft skill? How do you view the other person? What are your ethical approach? What are you up to? You will be judged for say 20 to 50 minutes in that interview. And if you are found suitable, if you have some those tendencies which are not suitable for a civil servant, then they will not let you in.
So, as a commissioner of appeals, what would you say are the ethical constraints one needs to keep in mind while performing their job?
I think in ethics there are no constraints, because ethics is basically the choice of good and the right. We have to avoid wrong and what is bad. This is the basic ethics. So there are no constraints. We have to be ethical. That's all. As simple as that. Because truth is simple. So we have to look for the good of the people, and because we are not handling people as a group, we are handling a case which is an individual case. So we have to look at the what are the basically whether the case is fit enough to be given relief, or whether it is not, the person is misrepresenting his case, he's not telling the facts. Accordingly we decide, and it is based only on absolute truth. If the person is correct legally, then he will get the relief, and if there is some error, then we will certainly confirm the judgment of the assessing officer. So, but the one probably the question you wanted to ask is the ethical constraints in working in the department is that, because revenue is involved, so the government has, as a policy matter, has decided that we should not have the officers contact with the general public, or to be minimized, because then there are some ethical constraints. If a person doesn't mean business, then what he will do is he will just try to make some wrong judgment if he gets influenced by some extraneous considerations. So we are keeping into view those type of constraints, and that's why we are basically avoiding the man to man contact in the offices. So this is
Mm,
a new thing which I have already discussed with you.
yeah. What form of extracurricular activities should a student aspiring to be a civil servant do?
Yes, this is a very good question. First of all, you should have a good personality. Means you should be a healthy, good person. So for that, you should have those set of outdoor sports, extracurricular activities, so that you should be a good sportsman. That will be very good. Then you should have good reading hobbies, because you should be a well-read person, because the change is coming day on a daily basis. And if you are reading newspapers, magazines, as well as keeping you abreast of the what is happening in the social media, then you ought to be aware of the currents and the undercurrents which take place in the society. So you should be a good reader. You should be a physically fit person, because the job can be very demanding. It can extend to even 18 hours in a day, or maybe sometime at a stretch you have to work for 48 hours, because if you mount a search, you are in a police service, or if there is some calamity and you are a district magistrate, then you cannot sleep. You have to be at this accident site You have to be aware what is happening minute to minute. So you have to be physically fit and as well as mentally alert. For that, you have to be a good reader. You should be a good sportsman, preferably. If a person is not good sportsman, at least he should be exercising daily so that he is physically, mentally alert.
How does your department handle multiple cases?
Please repeat the question.
How does your department handle multiple cases at once, if there is?
Multiple cases, for example, like Mr. Peel, he is on an average has a pendency of 1400 cases. So we are sending the notices to the persons who have preferred an appeal, and then their replies come, and there are various stages. We keep on reading the answers, and if there are queries, we will ask for certain more clarifications from the person. If the person wants certain more things to be placed on the record, if he has not been given proper opportunity, he will send us a few emails so that he is able to express his viewpoint more clearly. So we are able to handle many cases simultaneously. We keep on reading the files, and when the answer is ready from the appellant, when he gives us all the details, and we finalize the order.
Um, what is the admission process for being a civil serviceman, and how can one start practicing right now to crack it?
So this is a phased examination. First of all, generally the preliminary examination takes place in the month of June, more or less, and then the this preliminary exam contains general aptitude test, and if you there are around 9 lakh to say 10 lakh people appearing in this, the 10 lakh candidate. Out of this, around 10,000 are selected. They will be subjected to subjective tests. Then the exam is of 1750 marks. There are seven exams of 250 marks each, which comprises of two optional exams. You will have to select a subject. For example, you can select physics, then there will be two exams, physics A, physics B. And then there are four exams which are of general studies, one, two, three, and four. And then there is one another exam of essay. So in all, there are seven exams of 250 marks each, and there are another one or two exams of English and your regional language, so that you should be proficient up to 10th level in those. But their marks are not counted. So in all, you will get the score out of 1750, and then out of these 10,000, the topmost 14 1500 boys and girls who are at the top of the merit list according to their categories also, they will be selected for the personality test. Then they will be called, and from them roughly half of them will be selected. So this is a long drawn out process. It will start in month of June, and it will go up to the month of May, and the results are declared after a full 1 year. So if a person gets selected, then it's okay. Otherwise, he can get another attempt. For general candidates, there are six attempts. For the persons having reservations, they are having I think 10 attempts, and for persons belonging to SCs and STs background, they have unlimited options, unlimited attempts till a certain stipulated age.
So, is there anything else you would like to share to the people watching the interview currently?
I will, if you ask me specific, I will give you a specific answer.
I have finished all the questions.
My advice is to the youth that they should, in whatever field they go, they should work hard. That's all. If they want to come in the civil services, it's a good option. If they want to go in the private sector, that is also even similarly good. and but you have to be active physically and mentally, because in this present world you have to be very agile, swift, and also alert, so as to, because work is constantly changing every day, and I wish all the young boys and girls the very best.
Thank you for your answer.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.